Let's be honest, life can often just become completely overwhelming. Sometimes it feels like we have no options at all, and other times it feels like we've got too many options. Either can leave you feeling overwhelmed and you can just want to give up on everything and lean into your vice, your way of escaping. You can go and eat those biscuits. You can reach for that glass of wine. You can pick up your phone. You can hit the gambling apps. Whatever it is, go for a smoke. Whatever it is that you do to avoid that feeling of overwhelm, there has to be another way, right? There has to be something else that you can do, because we get stuck in that feeling. We don't know what to focus on. We don't know where we have influence, and we end up spinning our wheels and we become exhausted, anxious, and then we just tell our friends or our family, whoever will listen, just feel stuck. You don't know what to do next. That's precisely where my E.A.T approach comes in. So today I'm going to introduce you to something. It's a model, right? So you say, oh, Johnny, I know you don't really like models. Well, here we go. I'm going to do it for a model today. But here's the thing. I'm not telling you this model because I think that life's really simple and that there's a 1, 2, 3-step approach that if you do it, everything will work out okay. The reason I create models is because it's easier to remember. In the moments where you feel completely overwhelmed, trying to remember the ins and outs of some psychological theory or some complicated toolbox can feel a little bit overwhelming, and you're already overwhelmed. So I come up with models, acronyms, analogies, things that are easy to remember, and the E.A.T approach is one of them. And what it does is it disrupts and moves you towards solution-focused thinking instead of spiraling out of control and catastrophizing. It starts to get you to focus your attention on the solutions instead of obsessing and fretting and getting all worked up over the problem and making the problem bigger and more impossible and formidable. The E.A.T approach focuses on the only 3 things that you have control over. You see, here's the thing I want to say from the beginning. As human beings, we like to create this idea that we're in control and that we know what's going to happen, because it stops us from feeling anxious. It stops us from worrying about all the possible eventualities. I heard once a definition of the word anxiety, and it's the awareness of infinite possibilities. It makes me feel sick just thinking about it. And that's it. We walk around all the time, realistically, with the awareness of infinite possibilities. So what do we have control over? Well, I think we have control over only 3 things in our life. And that's where the E approach comes in. It's an acronym. E.A.T. Effort, attitude, and truth. You see, we can have influence over how much effort we're willing to give something or put into something. We can have control over what kind of attitude we choose to bring to a situation. And we have complete control over what truths that we know and hold dear to us that we need to live by and stick to at all times. Basically, our values. We have control over those 3 things. And today, I want to share something personal, powerful, and practical as an approach that I use in my own life and with my clients as well. And I know it's a really bold statement to make, but honestly and truthfully, when I introduce this to people, when they're feeling completely overwhelmed, completely out of control, and they don't know what to do and they're about to lean into their vices, I say to them, think about the E.A.T approach. What effort do I need to put in? What attitude do I need to have towards this? And what are the truths about this situation? Just stopping, disrupting that process and asking yourself questions around these 3 things really does change the way that you look at things. So when things feel chaotic or overwhelming, this approach cuts through all the noise, all the emotions, and it puts you back in the driver's seat, no matter how complex the situation feels. So let's start with effort. I think it's always a good idea to be curious in all situations. There's so many things going on around us. We don't have control over them. So instead of coming at it with a sledgehammer and trying to control things and trying to be dominant and trying to be aggressive, and there is sometimes that is the approach that's needed. But firstly, let's be curious about the situation. Let's look at the situation and ask ourselves some questions. So starting with effort, how much effort am I willing to give this? And how will that effort create the outcome I want? Those are the areas I would start with. And then I don't want to give you too much of what you should ask yourself, because I'm not you and I'm not in the situation that you potentially are in. So it's your questions, the things that you're curious about, starting to look at the problems as a way of finding solutions instead of looking at how bad the problems are and all of the bad things that are going to happen because of them. So asking yourself, how much effort am I willing to give this? And how will this effort create the outcome I want? This is a good place to start. And then the questions that come after that, they're up to you. You decide those. Because you see, effort is about one thing. It's about intention. Effort is about intention. It's about how much of yourself you're willing to bring into what matters to you. Even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching. It's about being authentic to yourself. How much of this am I willing to bring to what matters? How much of this am I willing to bring to what matters? We all want things in life. We want successes. We want to heal from horrible events that have happened to us. Might want to find love. We might want to have impact in the world. But the world doesn't give us what we want. It gives us what we consistently work for. It's about what we do. Not what we want to do, not what we'd like to do, what we actually do. When we get up in the morning with a plan, what do we do? Do we do the plan, or do we get sidetracked by the million things that are going on in life that are designed to tear us away from what we want to do? Effort is the bridge between where you are and where you'd like to be in life. It's the bridge. Imagine you're standing on a cliff and you've decided that there's something you want, and on the other side, there it is. On the other side of this cliff, this big gap in between you and it. On the other side is what you want. And the effort you put in is that bridge between those two things. I say that, but here's the twist. Your effort doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be consistent. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for that consistency. We're looking for that consistency on your best day. We're looking for that consistency on your worst day. We're not looking for perfection. We're looking for consistency, showing up and putting in the effort. And effort varies. Some days you can give all the effort under the sun and you just feel like you've got energy for days and you can keep doing this and there's no problem. And other days you do it for a little while and you're over it and you just want to walk away from it. Both are okay as long as they are the most effort you can put in on those days, on your best days and on your worst. And that question, how much effort am I willing to give, can wake you up when you're drifting. And it can snap you out of those procrastination cycles. And those moments of understandable and compassionately, I say this, self-pity. That moment where you're feeling sorry for yourself. And you just think, why me? What about me? It wakes you up. It breaks you out of that. It starts looking at the solutions. It starts to empower you. It starts to snap you out of those moments of confusion where you start to consider all the options and then realize a bit later that none of the options actually had anything to do with you. They were all things that other people wanted. Because no matter how messy life gets, effort is always the lever that you can pull. Next up, the A is attitude. These are the questions I'd probably start with when it comes to attitude, and that is, what attitude do I want to approach this with? And how will that attitude move me closer to the results that I'm after? You see, straight away, we're not talking about allowing the tide of life, allowing all of the emotions and the pressures and the worries and the concerns and the things you thought about, the things you might not have thought about. We're not allowing all of that to control us and dictate the attitude we bring. We're not bringing a franticness, an unpredictableness, an attitude of chaos with us. We're bringing a deliberate, intentional attitude that's focused on achieving an outcome, whatever that is. You see, this is such a huge aspect of it, but it's always overlooked, the attitude that we bring to it. But you're allowed to have the feelings that you have towards something. Maybe somebody's wronged you and you want to correct that, but you're angry about it. And you bring that anger to the conversation, and that anger just keeps us circulating in blame, and it doesn't really get us anywhere. So then we choose the attitude, okay, I'm angry about it, but I'm not going to bring that anger to this situation. I'm not going to bring that anger to this conversation, because all that's going to happen is I'm going to get caught up in the tide of the conversation, and then I'm going to end up saying things I regret. And then the focus of the conversation will shift, and it will end up being, why are you so angry? And why are you saying these things? And that's not fair, and blah, blah, blah. And you just get completely sidetracked. So your attitude is the emotional energy that you bring to what you do and what you want. And it's just like effort. It is a choice. It doesn't feel like it, but it is a choice. It is a choice. And perhaps there's some practice there on emotional regulation, or perhaps there's a little bit of patience required. Perhaps it's about picking your moments. When you find something out, and you want to go and confront that person, there's a really lovely saying by Brene Brown: when you feel emotionally triggered, do not talk, text, or type. I love that. It's hard to do, but it is right, because you'll end up saying or doing something regrettable. And then later on, everything becomes about your behavior instead of the thing that you were annoyed about. See, you can choose an attitude of fear, cynicism, or frustration, or you can choose curiosity, humility, and grit. They are a choice. And I hear it. You're like, oh, Johnny, come on, man. If I'm feeling really scared and I'm not really sure I can trust this person, and I'm getting all frustrated about the things that I'm not controlling or able to control, I'm not going to then go, okay, it's fine. I'm just going to be curious about it. And I'm going to be very humble about this whole thing, and then just dig in and apply that grit. Okay, don't do that then. But this is what I'm trying to say, is that you do have that choice. And perhaps when you're feeling that fear and that cynicism and that frustration, maybe that's not the time to take action. Maybe that's the time to send a very generic email or generic text message just saying, hey, listen, I'm not able to talk about this right now. Maybe we can talk about it tomorrow, or we can talk about it another time. Let me get back to you. Just something really generic that doesn't trigger anybody, that doesn't leave anyone any opportunity to jump on you and say anything. It's just lets them know that right now is not the time. I'll get back to you. See, that question, what attitude do I want to approach this with? That question has saved me more times than I can count, if I'm honest. Because attitude isn't about pretending everything is okay and everything is fine. It's about owning how you show up. It's not about gaslighting yourself and pretending that, oh, no, I'm fine, everything's okay, when you're not, and you're gritting your teeth and you just want to say something or do something. It's about owning how you show up, taking accountability for your behavior in that situation. And there'll be moments where you think, well, they don't deserve this, and they should do this, and they should do that, or this situation should be different. And you might be right. But unfortunately, that's not the situation you're in, and you can't control other people. So this is the way of taking back autonomy and focusing on your part in this story. Your attitude can attract support, or it can repel it. It can open doors or slam them shut. You see the control you have more than you realize? And it might mean that you might be arbitrarily manipulating a situation, if you want to use those terms. But good, because that benefits you. It's the lens you see life through and the message people feel when they interact with you. When we interact with people, we're creating feelings, we're creating responses, reactions. The words we say, the way we behave, the way we look, whether we smile or we frown, whether we come at something with aggressive tones or whether we come at with a more playful tone. All of these things influence other people, whether they realize it or not. It's really hard to shout at somebody when they're smiling. Actually, it's not. My kids do it all the time. So make sure it aligns with your goals, because a bad attitude can sabotage even your best efforts. You can put in all of the greatest effort, but if you turn up with a really lousy attitude, if you turn up and your energy is speaking volumes, but your words are saying something else, it creates distrust. It creates an uncomfortable feeling that can lead to chaos, and that can lead to unpredictable events that were probably completely avoidable. Last one, truth. Now, I want to make it really clear. I'm not calling anyone a liar. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is, sometimes things happen in life and they're so difficult, they're so impossible feeling, that the only way that we can move through them, the only way that we can keep plodding on, is if we create some sort of narrative that we can accept when we're unwilling or unable to accept the truth about the situation. And that is a lie. It's something that isn't true, and life will only ever reflect what is true back to you. And life becomes really unstable, unpredictable. All these avoidable and unnecessary things can happen because we're not aligning with the truth. Here's the thing about the truth. The truth is stable. Whether you like it or not, it will never change because it is true. Now, people can manipulate the truth, people can tell lies around you, but it isn't true. What are the questions you can ask yourself? What are the absolute facts about this situation and my role in it? Notice that you're taking some level of accountability here. That's important because it's empowering. Accountability is not about taking responsibility and saying that it's all my fault or blame or anything like that. Accountability is saying, right, okay, I'm waiting for somebody else to do this thing because they should do it. It's up to them. It's down to them. It's their responsibility, but they're not. And you can keep asking them and you can keep shouting at them, and you can keep escalating the situation, but they're never going to do it. This thing that you need to happen isn't going to happen unless you take accountability for it. So what are the absolute facts about this situation and my role in it? And what truths must I hold on to so that I don't get distracted or pulled into something I don't want to be involved in? You see, it circles back. It comes back to you. This one's so incredibly personal. This is where the internal work gets real. This is where all of the stuff that you've practiced and you said that you're going to do, this is where it gets put into action. Living in truth means facing facts about your situation, about other people, about how they really are showing up in the world. It's about facing the facts, the realism of it, what's really happening, not what you'd prefer to happen, not what you hope happens, not what you wish will happen, what is happening. And most importantly, and this is the important bit, you can face these facts about situations, you can face these facts about people, but you also have to face the facts about how you are showing up in the world. How much effort are you putting into the situation? What attitude are you bringing to the situation? What's the truth about that? Because when you ask, what are the absolute facts about this situation and my involvement in it? You're stripping away all the stories. You're stripping away all the assumptions being made and the emotions that can cloud your judgment. In essence, you're not asking yourself how you feel about it. You're not asking yourself what you wish was true, what you wish wasn't true. You're asking yourself, what are the absolute facts about this situation and my involvement in it? Harsh. But once you align with that, you're dealing with reality. You've got stability and you can feel quite empowered once you get past all of the way you feel about it. When you ask yourself, what are the absolute facts about the situation and my involvement in it, you're stripping away the stories, the assumptions. And when you ask yourself, what truths must I hold in mind so I don't get pulled into what I don't want to be involved in? When you do that, you're protecting your peace. You're installing a boundary. You're defending yourself against all of the bad intentions that are getting put out there, all of the chaos that you're getting pulled into, or people are trying to pull you into, or situations are demanding that you get pulled into. What truths must I hold in mind so I don't get pulled into what I don't want to be involved in? You're protecting your peace. Truth is your anchor. It's your stability. It keeps you grounded when emotions run high or when pressure tries to knock you off course. And here's the beauty of truth. It creates trust. It creates trust in yourself and it creates trust in your relationships. People can rely on you. You can rely on you. You see, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your self-respect, it's all based on one thing, your relationship, your reputation that you have with yourself. You know yourself. You know exactly what you're thinking of doing, what you have done, you know it all. You're the one that has to sleep at night. So here's the beauty of your truth. It creates trust with yourself and the relationships you have around you. You stop betraying your values. You stop selling yourself out and feeling rubbish about yourself and hating yourself because you had to do this or do that or say this or say that. You stop playing a role to fit in. You start to live honestly, authentically, powerfully. Man, that's freedom. That's real freedom. That's emotional freedom. So there it is, the approach. Effort, attitude, and truth. And when you feel totally overwhelmed, this is something you can lean into. These are questions you can ask yourself that will bring you towards answers necessarily that you want, but answers that are going to be helpful towards coming to some sort of solution or conclusion. When life feels chaotic, these are the 3 things that you can always come back to. They're simple, but they are not easy. They require intention, self-awareness, and consistency. But if you keep asking yourself these questions, you'll stay connected to your power, even when the world feels completely out of control. Thanks for listening today. If this episode has given you clarity or made you think, do me a favor, share it with someone who you think might need it, someone that might find it helpful. And remember, don't just listen to these podcasts, live them. Live it. Listen to this information, take it in and action it in your life. Put in that effort, choose that attitude and live your truth. Thanks for listening today. My name is Johnny Lawrence and I will see you next week on the Johnny Lawrence podcast.